Mike Norvell got a bag from Florida State, got extended through 2029. He was making $4.5 million a year last year, gonna make right around $8 million going forward per a year. And I applaud Florida State so much for this because they locked down the guy who built their program. Again, they locked down the guy who built their program, not a program. And you hear this saying, teach a man, or what is it? Catch a man to fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for the rest of his life, whatever it is. You just extended the guy who rebuilt the fishing pole. Nobody wants to talk about that guy who rebuilt the whole fishing pole. That's Mike Norvell. Because when he took over Florida State, they were not in a good position to succeed. It was a broken program. It was a broken operation. We'll talk about that more in just a second. But this is impressive to me, and this is a lot of awareness by Florida State, because there's only so many coaches in college football that can win. I assure you, there is even less that can build a program. That is Mike Norvell. He has built Florida State. He didn't just go there and coach them and start winning. He rebuilt the whole operation from the ground up. He has earned this money. Also want to say this. They're going to be good in 2023. Okay, we all understand that. Florida State is going to be a good team in 2023. This extension, it's not just about 2023. Because remember what's coming here in the near future. What is that? The expanded playoff, the 12-team playoff. And Florida State locked down their leader for the foreseeable future through 2029. So when that expanded playoff gets here, according to this document, according to this contract, Mike Norvell will be in control. I think it shows a lot of awareness by Florida State. If you have not yet subscribed, we'd love to have you all part of this. The People's Program, every single thing that you and I know and love about this beautiful sport, we talk about it here every single day. Live on Tuesdays, live on Thursdays. Also find me on social media at JD Piquel on both Twitter and on Instagram. I said it when Mike Norvell took over this operation, it was broken. It was broken from a roster standpoint. Yes, they didn't have the talent necessary to succeed. From a culture standpoint, they didn't have the processes in place. They didn't have the approach in place to be successful long term. He also took it over during COVID, when basically you weren't allowed to do anything and everyone was kind of coaching left-handed. Try doing that, but then being your first year in the saddle. In 2020, they go 3-6. In 2021, they miss a bowl game. They go 5-7. Again, you're building. In 2022, the Death Star is a little more operational. You win 10 games. Good for Florida State saying, we're going to invest in this stock now because we understand this could just be the tip of the iceberg. This whole thing may boom. The roster for Mike Norvell, when he got it, was like a broken car. Someone hands you an old beat-up Volvo and they say, go drive, man. Go take that thing somewhere else. Go take it off the lot. Go the distance. You and I both know that's not possible. So what do you do when you have a car that doesn't work and you have to get from A to B? You go and get new parts. And that's what Mike Norvell has done via the transfer portal. Everyone wants to talk about recruiting in the state of Florida, and we're going to talk about that too, but Mike Norvell built this thing. He retooled this whole thing with the portal. And there's been success story after success story. Jordan Travis transferred in. Jaheim Bell is going to transfer in. Fentrell Cypress, one of the top players in the transfer portal, is going to transfer in. They've got a lot of pieces that have come there and be successful. Micah Pittman, Johnny Wilson, Jared Verse. Like, we go down the line here, and there's guys that have transferred from one situation to Tallahassee and found success. And Mike Norvell deserves a ton of credit for putting those talented players from the portal in position to succeed. It's not easy because you got to find the right parts. You can't just plug and play any part. It's got to be the right part for your system, for your program, for your car. And they have done that effectively, and they're continuing to do it going forward. Because the roster was broken. You had to go and get parts. Now, it wasn't just a copy-paste situation. Like, everyone talks about USC and how they used the portal and overhauled their roster. To be real with you, a lot of that, I don't want to say a lot of that. Some of the key pieces, the most important piece for USC was a copy and paste from Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley, taking Caleb Williams to Los Angeles. You win a Heisman Trophy. Life is good. Okay, so that wasn't what Mike Norvell did. Had to be a little bit more meticulous than that. Now, internally, like I said, they weren't in a competitive place. They did not have the right culture in place. And I don't want to pretend that I'm behind closed doors in Tallahassee. To be honest with you, I don't have any clearance, I believe, in Tallahassee, Florida, for the time being. Florida State, we'd love to come and take a visit. Let us know. But when I listen to him speak about his football program and about the way that he operates and about what he expects from his team and what they focus on, he reminds me of Kirby Smart. I'm not saying Mike Norvell's Kirby Smart. Do not misunderstand me when I say that. But I would say that Mike Norvell focuses on the right things, internal over external. We focus on us. We don't worry about you. We worry about what we do in-house when we show up on game day. If we've done our process effectively at an elite level, we will dominate on Saturdays. That's the same thing Kirby Smart talks about, the same thing Nick Saban talks about. Competition is paramount, right? Competition is the lifeblood of success a lot of times, but competition starts internally. You compete as hard as possible in-house, and then when you get to the field, should be a lot easier. That's what they preach at Tallahassee. That's what they preach at Florida State, and I think that's a very good sign for them going forward. You can have talent, but if you don't have culture, it's what makes the whole thing go. It's what makes the whole car go. Now, you locked in your coach for good at least until 2029. Here's the potential impact. You had a good 2022. You have your coach there for a longer period of time. If you sprinkle in what they're supposed to do in 2023, this roster could boom on the recruiting trail. This program could boom on the recruiting trail because of the talent that's available in the state of Florida and because of all the guys that are now going to take a second look at Florida State and say, I was thinking about X school, Y school, maybe I was thinking about another in-state school, and you know what? Florida State's doing some really good things right now. They're winning a lot. They're running this state. I at least want to take a second look at how they're developing their players. I want to take a second look at what they're doing on Saturday afternoons. That's what Florida State is flirting with right now. Like I said, a good 2023 could be the spark that sets off the explosives on the recruiting trail. Right now, they're outside the top 10. Or I guess they finished outside the top 10 more or less than 2023 cycle. I would not expect that to be the case going forward if they do what they're capable of in 2023. Now, with more money comes more pressure for Mike Norvell. More money, more problems. They paid for the success that he achieved in 2022. That's a true statement. But at the exact same time, I have a hard time imagining that this money is going to be allocated just towards more 10-win seasons. Like, there's a piece of this contract, there's a piece of that $8 million a year annually that I think has some expectations sprinkled in there. They expect to win national championships. I want to take you back really quick. When Willie Taggart was fired, what was the quote that stuck out? We needed to make a change. There was no sense in waiting. There was no advantage in waiting. Yeah, that was all said. But what was said very, very clearly by the AD at Florida State was, we expect to win national championships, to get back to the standard of Florida State football. They're happy with 10 wins. I'm sure you're happy with 10 wins in Tallahassee, but that's not what Mike Norvell is getting extended for. He's getting extended to compete for national titles. So, good for Florida State, locking down their guy, locking down not just a winner, but a program builder. Florida State, before he got there, they were broken. He had to build this thing from the ground up. Now, the roster is slowly getting back to a place where they can be competitive consistently, not just using the portal. They've used the portal a lot, but they're going to really boom here in the near future if the recruiting can pick up. And recruiting, I think, will pick up if they do what they're capable of in 2023. So for Florida State, Mike Norvell getting the bag he deserved. But this is just the beginning for Mike Norvell. The pressure starts now. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.